Oh, hello and welcome again. So today I'm going to be building a 1/10 scale NSD Dalek that I've printed from files off Thingiverse. It's called the Accurate Dalek model from Doctor Who by Audrey 2. So this is the fender and the skirt. Since printing this skirt, I've noticed that Thingiverse have a one-piece skirt for this model as an addition, or someone's loaded that up. So when I make another one of these, I'll be printing out the single-piece skirt. So I've printed this Dalek out in ABS filament, and here I'm just painting the ABS slurry onto the parts. So the slurry is just made up from the acetone, and then 25 or 50% I've added just some ABS filament. So this was just this one was made from the bronze filament, the support structure and all that. I just broke that up and put that in there until it got to a bit of a sort of like a light cream sort of viscosity. You can add acetone to it anytime, or add some more filament. So here I've just glued up all the pieces. I put acetone, put the slurry on all the pieces, both sides of the joints I'm going to make. I find that sticks better. Here I'm just cleaning up some of the slurry that oozed out from the joints with a little bit of raw acetone, just to clean it up a little bit. This filament, this is a bronze filament from Ink Station, a shop here in Australia. I'm not saying it's the best filament or anything like that. It's filament. It works okay on the printer that I've got. So now I'm about to glue on some of the I think the original NSDs, they call these the oil seal. So I think there was an oil seal from a DAF truck. So I'm just gluing them on. Same thing with the ABS slurry. There's 56 of these, and then the hemis fit on top of that. So this is printed out in black ABS. I'm just using a 4mm drill. There's a 4mm hole in the oil seal, and there's a 4mm hole in the skirt, so it just helps line them all up. An odd thing is that so the slurry I'm using now is made from the bronze filament, but the bronze filament pigment fell out of the solution and it all sat on the bottom, so it's like a milky colour and weird. The jar next to it is gold filament that I use for the hemispheres and that, and the pigment out of that, instead of falling to the bottom of the acetone, it went to the top of the acetone. So not sure why that happens, but it did. It's a little bit of a tedious task fitting them all on, but yeah, the drill trick helped line them up a bit better. The good thing with the ABS slurry, is that it grabs fast, but gives you time to move it around a little bit, because obviously it's like acetone melts the ABS, and so it lets it slide around a little bit, and then after about an hour or something like that, the acetone's all evaporated and it forms a solid bond. I think the term they use is solvent welding. This is a bit of a fill-in. The printer that I used to print this was a Voron Trident. That's an open source 3D printer. So it's a totally enclosed printer, so it doesn't have a lot of issues printing ABS, providing everything's up to temperature okay. ABS on an unenclosed printer can be a little bit troublesome sometimes with it wanting to warp. Here I'm just using the 4mm drill to clean out some of the holes. Not because I want the holes there, it's just to clean away any of the excess slurry that's poked through the holes. I wanted the hemis that was going to fit on there and go glued on there in a minute to have a reasonably smooth surface to glue onto. So here's the hemispheres, so there's I think 56 of those to glue on. Instead of using the gold filament, I just thought I'd use the bronze slurry. So these first few Emmys were a little bit hard to fit on, and then I realised that I'd printed the hemispheres with a brim, and I just removed the brim, but some of the brim was still there. It was only like 0.5 millimetre. It was next to nothing, but because the model was very good and the fit was very close, so here I just paused the video and cleaned the remainder of the brim off of the hemispheres and glued them on. It was a lot nicer, a lot easier to fit all the hemispheres on that way. But yeah, if the next one I'll print these without a brim, then I won't really have any cleaning off, unless I get a little bit of elephant foot on the hemisphere. See how we go. So just a little bit about the safety stuff I was using. These are nitrile gloves, only because I didn't want to get too much acetone on my skin. I think it can give you dermatitis if you expose yourself too much for it. Also wore a cartridge mask. The cartridge is for VOCs, which I think stands for volatile organic compounds. So that's what the material safety data sheet for ABS said to wear, so I just wore that as well. Even though this is in a reasonably open area with a bit of breeze through it. So there's the hemispheres all stuck on. Doesn't look too bad at all. The model's very nice. So next up was the shoulder slats. I just put the shoulders on like that. They're not glued on at the moment, and I just used some reference photos just to line up where I thought the slats sort of went, marked it with a bit of masking tape. There's plenty of reference photos of NSD Daleks floating around. The slats are printed out and they have like a brim attached to them. So I numbered them from 1 to I think it was 8 or 9 left and 1 to 9 right, and I wrote that on the back of them with a fine texture. Because they're all slightly different, so you need to line them and make sure that you mark them somehow before you remove the support material. with this big slat at the front, I just measured about halfway between the gun boxes, and so I could get that about right. The first small slat pretty much lines up with the start of the gun box, so after I get this big slat in, I'll put the first small slat in, and then I'm going to put the next slat will be the long slat because that's got like a groove for the end of the gun box, and then I just sort of guessed the middle for the second short slat, and now I'm just working my way around, just sort of lining up the marks that I put on the masking tape, and trying to get the spacings about evenly. I'm using some tweezers here because I just don't want to get the slurry on my fingers and then smudge that onto the top surface of the slat, because it'll leave a white mark on there, or a grey mark. So the inside of the slat is like a wedge, so the thick end of the wedge is facing upwards. But you'll see that if you have a look at some reference photos of the NSD. So I'm just about to finish off the slat, so again I'll put the slat closest to the middle, and then the second slat I'll just try to get that in the even spacing between the other slats. That's all the slats on. The gold filament was a little bit disappointing. I was hoping that it'd be more gold and less yellow, but that's the choice of gold that I had, so that's what I went with. Just pull the masking tape off here, don't need it anymore. The shoulders slid onto the skirt nicely, so I'll glue that on a bit later on. So I'm about to do what I thought was the trickiest part of the build. So we've got the neck rings there, and these neck struts, I think they're called. There's 8 of them. They've got like three barb arrangements on them. And this is the gun box detail, so that's in 2 parts, the front one and the back one. They're pretty thin, they're only like 2 or 3 layers thick. So I'm going to try and, I wasn't sure how I was going to glue these neck struts on. So I thought I'd start from the top, so that's the smallest ring, and glue the 8 neck struts on. I must say the ABS slurry was really handy here because it has a good grip to start with, but because it takes half hour an hour to for the acetone to go off, sort of evaporate, and the plastic to go solid, it gives you plenty of time to manoeuvre them around, which is what I had to do. I'm not sure how that would work if you tried to use super glue with this method. Yeah, so I'm starting with the top ring, gluing up the top part of the neck strut. So I glue all 8 on. So now I've got the 8 struts on, so I've got to feed the centre ring over the bottom notches. It's a bit of a fiddly sort of a process. I guess if you super glue them, I'm just guessing here, maybe you put 1 or 2 of them on there or something like that and try and super glue them on. Or maybe assemble the whole thing onto the neck and then apply super glue. I've got all the rings on the neck, but the bottom one and the middle one's not glued on at this stage. I'm just trying to get the struts to be up and down as best as possible. I'm really not sure the best way of doing this, so it's just experimenting as I go. The bronze block in the middle, that's not standard to the original set of files. So yeah, I'm just trying to glue the middle ring in place. So that the bronze block, that's for the dome rotation, which I think the original files don't have that. The dome just gets glued onto the neck. So this was Audrey 2 also has Renegade Dalek files, and this is how he does his Renegade Dalek dome that rotates. So I basically got that, modified it in Tinkercad and added the block to there, added this keyway and added the pin or whatever onto the dome. So those files I've put on to Thingiverse, so I'll leave a link to those files if you want to use that for head rotation. So while the neck ring's drying up a bit, I tried to just use straight acetone on to there to glue the detail on, but it didn't work, and not sure why, but I'm thinking it's because that jar was used for pickled onions, and maybe the vinegar in it made the acetone not dissolve the ABS anymore. Because I've used that method before and it's worked alright, so that's the only thing I can think of. So yeah, so I'm just gluing on the details there, just making sure that they're in the centre, because the holes are on the detail is smaller than the holes in the shoulder, so it's like a 1mm gap all the way around. That will just help the arm and the plunger move in around a bit better. Now the top detail of the gun box, it's got 4 points on it. It's a circle with 4 points, and the points point up and down and left and right. Like I said, these are only 2 or 3 layers thick, so just trying to be careful with putting the slurry on it. And again, I'm using some tweezers there just to help line it all up and not get me fingers covered in slurry and ruin the look of the gun box. Those holes are the same, so just matter of lining the edge of the holes up with the other detail. So that's the gun box detail done. So there, the holes are sort of about central to the holes that are in the shoulders. Now I'm just going to put the neck mesh in. This is the first version of the adapter that I made, and it was a little bit short, so I've put a washer under there just to space it up. I've since modified that, so if you print out that, you don't need the washer, you can just push it flush down. I just had to put the washer there because the dome was scraping on the neck struts, so it just need to be up another millimetre. So yeah, just add a little bit more slurry in there to make sure that that's all glued in. But I think there's plenty of glue. Now I'm just sort of trying to lock in the neck struts to the mesh. The seams in the mesh are covered by the neck struts. Just test it there. It's almost the end of this video. We'll do a part 2, which will be the conclusion of the build. So thank you for watching this first part. Hope you hang around for the second part. Okay, just to acknowledge, I got the inspiration to build the NSDs from watching Fake Maker's Renegade Dalek build. I'll put a link to his video in the comments section. Well worth watching. There's a couple of videos of the different builds he's done.